let's quickly run through the basics of differentiation so that it won't be a challenge when answering question in physics. So when you talk about the first formula for differentiation I want us to learn, which will be very useful in physics, is the one that says if you have y equals to ax raised to power of n, where a here is what? Coefficient. Coefficient of x. Coefficient means the number that is attached to the variable, or the number in front of the variable. Take for instance, if you have 2x. 2x here, 2 here is the coefficient of x, is the number attached to the variable x, while x here is the variable. The reason we call it a variable, or you can say unknown, is a number, is a letter used to represent an unknown value. So it can take any number of values. So that's why we call it a variable. It can vary. It can take any number, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not constant, but here is a here is a coefficient of x, and here is the power of x. So if you assuming we have 2x raised to power of 5, 5 here, n represents n, 2 here represents what? A, and x here represents itself. So if you have y equals to what? 2x raised to power of 5, and you have here y equals to a and x, and then you have to find dy dx. So dy dx will be equals to what? A times n times what? X raised to power of n minus 1. Raised to power of n minus 1. So that our dy dx will be equals to a n x raised to power of what? N minus 1. So that's how to find dy dx with when the function is of this form. So take for example, we have one here, y equals to 2x raised to power of 5. And our a is 2, our n is 5. So from here, our dy dx will be equal to what? 2 times 5 times x raised to power of 5 minus 1. Remember, raised to power of n minus 1, 5 minus 1. So that our dy dx, 2 times 5 is 10. 10x raised to power of 5 minus 1 is 4. So now we've successfully differentiated y equals to 2x raised to power of 5. We differentiated it and it becomes what? 10. 10x raised to power of 4. So now try this one and see if you've understood that basic principle there. What if you have y equals to 3x raised to power of 7? Find dy dx. So you pause the video and solve it, get your answer, and see if it's the same with mine. So here our a is 3, our n is 7. So that would be 3 times 7 times x raised to power of what? 7 minus 1, which equals to 3 times 7 is 21. X raised to power of 7 minus 1 is 6. So if you got 21x raised to power of 6, that means you've understood what we've just discussed. So now, what if you want to do double derivative or double differentiation? If you want to do double differentiation, For instance, now, what if I say differentiate this the second time? That's differentiate y. What if I say differentiate this 2 times? That's find the square y dx square. So what this means is that you should differentiate these two. You differentiate these 2 times. So the first differentiation, we've done it to give us what? 21x raised to the power of 6. So second derivative or second differentiation will be equals to, you come here, our a, the coefficient of x is 21. 21 times the power of x, which is 6. The power of x, which is 6. And then times x times x raised to the power of what? 6 minus 1. So 6 times 21. 6 times 21 is 126. 126. X raised to the power of 6 minus 1 is 5. So the square y, the x square equals to what? 126 x raised to the power of 5. It's as simple as that. So let's take another example to further comprehend what we're doing. Now this time around, what if I say y equals to 3x raised to the power of 4 plus 2x raised to the power of 3 minus 5x plus 6. And then I say find dy dx, also find the square y dx square, and I also say find the cube y, the x cube. So let's do that. And you can pause it and try it out and see what you get. Now, unlike the first one I did that had only one term, this second one I'm trying to do, this function has a lot of terms. The first term here is 3x raised to the power of 4. This is the second term here, 2x raised to the power of 3. Third term minus 5x. Fourth term 6. So this second function here has 1, 2, 3, 4. It has 4 terms on the right hand side. So unlike the example we did that had only one term, so what you do here is that you differentiate it term by term. You differentiate it term by term. So let's start. Dy dx equals to, this first one will be 3 times 4 times x raised to the power of 4 minus 1. Then you bring your plus. Coefficient here is 2, power is 3. So that will be 2 times 3 times x raised to the power of what? 3 minus 1. The next one here, minus, the coefficient here is 5. 5 times the power of x here is 1. Once you see a variable and there is no power written on it, the default power is 1. So times 5 times x raised to the power of 1 minus 1. And here, if you differentiate a constant, what we mean by a constant is a number that doesn't have a variable attached to it. That means the number cannot vary, it's just there. There's nothing you will do to change this 6 from what it is. It's a constant. It's a constant term. So if you differentiate a constant, you have 0. So this will be equals to 3, 4, 12. X raised to the power of 4 minus 1 is 3. Plus 2, 3, 6. 6x raised to the power of 3 minus 1. 3 minus 1 is 2. 6x squared minus 5. 5x raised to the power of 1 minus 1 is 0. 5x raised to the power of 0. Okay, that 0 there is gone. So this will be equals to 12x raised to the power of 3 plus 6x squared. Anything raised to the power of 0 is 1. That's one of the laws of indices. 2 raised to the power of 0 equals to 1. 5 raised to the power of 0 equals to 1. Minus 2 raised to the power of 0 equals to 1. Y raised to the power of 0 equals to 1. Anything raised to the power of 0 equals to 1. So this would be minus 5 times 1, which still lands you at what? 12x raised to the power of 3 plus 6x squared minus 5. So we have found the first derivative. So I also said we should find the second derivative. So you can also pause the video and see if you can get the second derivative. So the second derivative or second differentiation means you differentiate that first one 2 times. So we have done the first time, so we are going to do it the second time. That we differentiate this result again. So now our d square y dx squared will be equals to what? Our coefficient here is 12. Power is 3. That will be 12 times 3 times x raised to the power of what? 3 minus 1. 3 minus 1 plus 6. Coefficient here is 6 times 2 times x raised to the power of 2 minus 1. Here minus 5 is a constant because it doesn't have a variable attached to it. So differentiation of constant is 0. Or sorry, this should be minus 0. Whether plus or minus 0 is 0, it will be gone. So now our d square y dx squared will be equals to 12 times 3 is 36. The 6x raised to the power of 3 minus 1, 2 plus 6 that 12. X raised to the power of 2 minus 1, but we don't write it. 0 is gone. So that's the second derivative. If you got it, then kudos. So try the third derivative, differentiate it the third time. That y dx cubed 2 times 36, that should be 72. 72x raised to the power of 2 minus 1 plus 12. The coefficient of this thing is 1. 12 times 1 times x raised to the power of what? 1 minus 1. So this will be 72x plus 12. So if you got that, that is correct. So that is basically how to do the differentiation from the first formula. So let me give you something to try out and then see how well you've understood it. So number one, if y equals to 6x squared plus 3x minus 5. Find dy dx. Number two, if you have y equals to minus 3x raised to the power of minus 2 plus 2x raised to the power of minus 1 plus 3. Find dy dx. Then number 3, if you have that s equals 3 t raised to the power of 3 minus 2 t raised to the power of 2 plus 1. Find the s, the t, and what? The square s, the t square. So do these 3. Pause the video, do these 3, and see what your answer will be. Now, if you have done that, let's quickly do the correction. Or let's quickly do the correction. Or just write out the answers. Okay, let's quickly do the correction. For the first one there, our solution for the first one there, we have y equals to 6x squared plus 3x minus 5, our dy dx will be equals to 2612 x raised to the power of 1 plus 3. So that will be the number 1 answer. Then for number 2, we will see that y equals to minus 3 x raised to the power of minus 2 plus 2 x raised to the power of minus 1 plus 3, dy dx will be equals to minus 2 times minus 3 is plus 6. 6x raised to the power of minus 2 minus 1 will give you minus 3. 6x raised to the power of minus 3. Then for the second one, minus 1 times 2 will give you minus 2. Minus 2x raised to the power of minus 1 will give you minus 2. And then if you differentiate the constant here is 0. So number 2 here, that's the answer. 6x raised to the power minus 3 minus 2x raised to the power minus 2. And the third one, number 3, see that. Then one number 3, that we have that s equals to 3t raised to the power of 3 minus 2t squared plus 1. Our ds dt will be equals to 339 9t raised to the power of 2 minus 4t. So this our ds dt equals to 9t squared minus 4t, then our d square s dt square will be equals to 2 times 9 is 18. 18t minus 4. So that is the answer to that. So if you need more questions pertaining to differentiation, you can join our WhatsApp group through the link on the description, where we can also give you more questions and also attend to other pressing questions with respect to JAMB and WAEC. Thank you. Don't forget to like and subscribe.